U.S. men's team kicks off tonight at 9. If you're looking for any Herb Brooks type miracle speech or a Ted Lasso TED Talk or even a Broussard Budless motivation from Coach Pochettino, well, he says, too bad, it's too late. Dax, you like this out of Coach Pooch?
I love it. I don't like it. I love it. Oh. But at the same time, I don't necessarily believe him. Now, you stole one of my inspirational guys, Herb Brooks. I don't expect him to give you any inspirational Herb Brooks type speeches, but he will say something. 100% he will say something. And I scoured the internet earlier. I was like, surely in this age of social media where every pre-game speech from a coach, every post-game speech from a coach is filmed, surely we can find something where I can kind of be like, Pochettino, I don't necessarily believe you. I genuinely couldn't find anything. So it's not out there. I don't necessarily think he is, even though he's Argentinian, he's very fiery, very passionate, I don't necessarily think he is big on the pre-game motivational speeches. I found a post-game speech against Uruguay where they had just had the biggest win of his era, and it was 5-1, and he was very relaxed, very calm. This is the expectation. But what I will say is that if you have a player-led team where in the locker room before the game, you have players that are dictating what is being said, how we're supposed to approach this game, what it feels like to represent the United States of America in a World Cup, which, by the way, we have 13 returning players from the 2022 World Cup, so I don't think we're necessarily considered a young team anymore. We have plenty of experience. If I'm Pochettino, I would say, hey, this is your guys' thing. You take it. If you're on a player-led team where everyone internally doesn't need the motivation from the coach, which is what Pochettino is talking about, well, you're already a step ahead of, I think, where you were in 2022. I expect Tim Ream, the actual captain, to say things before the game. I expect Chris Richards to say something before the game. But I also expect Tyler Adams, the emotional leader of this team, the heart and soul, the guy who sits right in the middle of the field, to give a big speech before the game, because I think everyone looks to Tyler and says, you're our spine, you're our heart and soul, say something. I don't think Pochettino, to his point, he shouldn't have to say anything motivational to these guys. You're in a home World Cup, okay? If you need extra motivation, you should go home.
Yeah, I think Nick and Wilds think I'm going to poo-poo Pochettino and what he's saying. Now, it's different strokes for different folks. And if that's not, covering the NBA, like Pat Riley was known for these fantastic pregame speeches and motivation tactics. And I do believe, in 2006, he came up with some motivation. He had a treasure chest. They put family photos in it, all that.
Sure.
I don't think they win that championship, the Heat, without Riley being the coach. So I think it's a value there.
Yeah.
But I tend to, if that's not Pochettino's style, I'm fine with it. I agree with you. I think he's going to say something, obviously.
He will.
But it's just not going to be this dramatic thing. And I want to ask you, while I think there can be a value in those type of tactics, at the end of the day, it's going to be how they respond on the field, how skilled
100%.
they are, how they can handle the moment, things like that. So as great as it might be, and you run out of the locker room charged up and all that, how much at the end of the day does some fantastic pregame speech really matter when it comes to getting on that field? The players want to win. You 100%. Can't raise their level.
I mean, my guess would be, and tell me if I'm right, it can matter a lot. The lower stakes the environment, the more the motivational speech matters. And the higher stakes the environment, the less important it is.
It's a great point.
And I think that's kind of what he's saying, which is it's the first game for almost everyone on the team. This is either the biggest or the second biggest game they've ever played in a Team USA jersey. We shouldn't need, an extra boost. And I also think that, you were a lot of the great coaches. I don't think Bill Belichick was a huge speech guy. It feels Belichickian.
Yes.
We kind of have already done the work.
We've done the work.
Exactly.
And I think that's right.
13 of these players have played in a World Cup. None of these players have played in a home World Cup.
Yeah.
No extra motivation needed.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Head to the NBA. Speaking of holding on for dear life, Spurs. Game 5 on Saturday, Brew. The Spurs squad seems confident, even in the face of literally the worst collapse in NBA history.
Yeah, it was.
How do the Spurs force a Game 6 and win on Saturday?
Well, obviously, we all know establish Wemby inside first. All right, first and foremost. When they get their double-digit lead, not if, when they get their double-digit lead, play smart. All right? Don't just start hoisting a bunch of threes. They shot. It wasn't just that they kept shooting threes, because you're going to keep shooting threes in today's game. But it was, Nick, that they took so many early in the shot clock. You have to walk that balance between staying aggressive but using the clock as your friend if you get this lead. And so play smart. And in pregame, they got to be telling the talk has already had to happen. Look, put this behind us. And I think this is where their youth can help them in that they probably don't feel the gravity of what they did because they're so young. They may not understand it. I don't mean understand it, but, it doesn't weigh on them as heavily as some veterans.
I think sometimes the inexperience shows up where it's like, I got a long career ahead of me. This isn't my only shot at it.
Well,
certainly they know they blow a huge lead, but like,
I think you guys
don't want to take it for granted.
I disagree I think there's some places where it's, you don't know what you don't know. There are, your young children know what the Spurs did had never happened before.
Well, of course.
Well, we're not saying
it's not going to weigh on them as if it was Chris Paul and the
question.
Suns.
You might be right. I don't know. That's the question. How is it going to impact them? Yeah. We would have thought the Wemby thing impacted them like that. We would have thought, when he threw it off of Castle's back. They come out and win Game 3 and look good. Yeah. And that crowd didn't infect them like we thought it might. So we're going to find out.
Yeah, I think, oddly, I actually think their best path to forcing a Game 6 is not leaning on Wemby early and trying to make sure you can lean on him late. I'm going to, I guess, say this until the series is over.
You've been on this. It's okay.
He doesn't have 4 awesome quarters in him. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just not what I would bet on. And maybe Game 4, it was more dramatic because they only had the 1 day off between.
Right.
But they didn't have to travel, so that helps a little bit. They have travel here. The only 1 day off between where he was just so active and awesome early. And now the Knicks brew in Game 4 scored during the comeback 1.8 points per possession when targeting Wemby. Because they were able to draw him outside, and he just wasn't. He's already going to be at something of a disadvantage there just because of his size, but he wasn't able to move as quickly as he normally can. I think the Knicks unlocked a lot in that game on the comeback of, we haven't played Brunson Alvarado together at all year. We can now do that. That is something. That's a way to take some of the load off Alvarado. Do the Spurs counter by the one thing I'm surprised they haven't done yet in this series, which is, why don't we press the Dylan Harper button more? Harper seems, listen, he hasn't been able to make threes. His shot's been off. But he seems like he can get to the rim at will.
Yes.
And so, now, would you start all 3 guards, Castle, Fox, and Harper, and put Champagnie to the bench? I would think
the way
about
they've started has been fine.
Well, that's another good point. I guess you wouldn't want to change it because you've been awesome.
And you do need Champagnie's. Vassell was good, really good last game. You need Champagnie's 3-point shooting.
Here's another, I think, important element to the game. So I've been toying with in my brain going to San Antonio. So I've just been looking at the tickets.
Great.
They are almost MSG prices because it's MSG fans that are buying them up.
I think
100%. I think this crowd is going to be not that dissimilar to the Cavs Game 4 crowd. Where remember after the Knicks won, where they stayed and it was like a Knicks crowd hanging out there. I think this stadium is going to be 40% Knicks fans. And I think that now how that impacts them, obviously the Spurs played great on the road.
40%.
I think, and at least will be volume-wise that, because I think Knicks fans are going to be over the moon about what's happening, and Spurs fans are going to recognize, all right, this is step one of a long journey, even if we win tonight. I had been saying all along Knicks in 6, that I thought they would split the first 2 in San Antonio. The Knicks would win. I thought they'd be 3-1 in this spot and then lose. The Knicks would lose Game 5. I no longer feel that way. And in order for the Spurs to win this game, I think that they need to have a tie or a small lead at halftime without Wemby having done a lot. And find a way there so Wemby can try to close it out for him.
Quickly, when we talk about like how the Spurs are affected by giving up a huge lead, do you expect there to be a little bit of a best moment of our basketball lives hangover for the Knicks?
I mean, look, if there is that and the Spurs get up big, it's been that way most of the series. So that it'd be hard to tell, and you still wouldn't be able to relax because obviously not only would you feel like the Knicks could come back, but the Knicks would feel like they can come back. So I think their players have done a great job of remaining even-keeled and steady and not getting ahead of themselves. So I think they'll be fine.
Do you guys not Brew thinks the Spurs are a little bit better than the Knicks holistically. I think the Knicks are a little bit better than the Spurs. But we're all thinking it's close, right? I would be nervous if I were a Spurs fan of, all right, these two teams pretty clearly pretty evenly matched. You know what we haven't seen yet? The Knicks jump out to a huge lead. Right. The Knicks, the Knicks have not had one unbelievable shooting half the way the Spurs just had. They haven't. There hasn't been. We're yet to have the. Oh my God, where did that performance come from a deep role player? You know, OG had 30, but OG's second highest player on the team.
I know, but he's like
Colorado wasn't supposed to do that at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, but so
quarter.
I just
and that second quarter of Game 3, they were great.
But you're talking about like Shamet having 21, just the random guy.
Yes, and so the Josh Hart had the nice game in the loss, the nice shooting game in the loss.
Yeah.
I just also. Last point I'll make here. I do wonder. There's no way to prove it. I thought Towns was going to have an awesome Game 4. He was, he scored on his opening basket. Then I thought scored on the second one, but then they overturned it. I wonder if Towns is able to avoid foul trouble like he was in Games 1 and 2 for the beginning of at least Game 2, what performance he's about to have.
Yeah. Lovely little ball.
Oh, they're in again! And it's the substitutes! South Korea have come from behind.
Second match of the opening day of the World Cup yesterday. South Korea wins. They'll take on Mexico, who also won, and we are counting down to USA's inaugural game. Starts at 9 p.m. We're only 9 hours away, 9 hours, 19 minutes as we take on Paraguay, which we're excited for, and we're going to talk about right now. We're favored to win, Dax. Is this a must-win?
Yes, it is a must-win in a sense of getting the entire country behind you, in a sense that I saw what Nick said a little bit earlier, is that you want to finish first in the group, and it will make your life in the knockout rounds much easier. Now, in practicality, is it a must-win? No. We're not talking about a Spurs must-win here.
Right.
But we are talking about getting the whole country behind you, setting your stall out, and making sure that people realize we understand what's at stake. Because we want to let as many people that want to support the United States of America and men's soccer into the tent as possible. And you know how you do that? You have a great performance in the first game. So you really get everyone excited. So yes and no.
Yeah, so if we have time later in the segment, I can go over a bit of kind of the mechanics of what 3 points would mean versus 1 point or 0 points for the U.S. moving on. But I want to treat this from even if they were like, hey, no points will be awarded for this match. It won't count towards the standings, but everybody's going to play as if they were. I would still feel like it's a must-win. For me to believe that this U.S. team can do what I think its obvious goals, reach its obvious goals, which are not just reach the knockout round and not just in the expanded field win a knockout round game to get to the round of 16 where we've been many times, but to get to the elusive quarterfinals where we've been once, and then you can dream. You know what I mean? If you get to the final 8, you can be like, hey, we're going to be an underdog against anybody we play there, but see what the hell happens. If we are not good enough to beat Paraguay, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to their players or the nation, but it's a 48-team tournament, and they are roughly the 40th best team in the world. Now, it doesn't mean they're 40th best team in the tournament because it's not stacked 1 through 48 from world rankings. But this will, in all likelihood, be the lowest ranked nation we play at any point in this tournament. You've got to be able to win that game.
Yeah.
And so even though they can lose and still probably in the betting lines be even money to get out of the group, that won't matter. That's not what I'm focused on. I'm focused on, can the U.S. actually seize on the advantage that these players will have for the only time of their careers, a home World Cup, a great group draw, and start off strong.
Dax, can I ask you about Pulisic and how much pressure he's under?
Sure.
We had World Cup Wednesdays for I don't know, a few months leading up to tonight's game. And one of the storylines that we had was this drought, goal-scoring drought that Pulisic had. And we kept on using the word drought. Yeah. And then he scored in the friendly against, that was Senegal. He had this goal. And we're like, drought's over. Yeah. But it's almost because we were using the word drought. Like, good news, we got a rain. The crops are great now. Yeah. Yeah. Another way I could frame this was, he's got one goal in 2026. You know what I mean? It's just the way that we framed it was different. Is it all behind us? Are all concerns behind us because of that one goal?
Yes, I'm not worried about Christian Pulisic.
Wow.
And it's mainly because of the performances that we have seen out of him in the last couple of friendlies. And he even spoke about this himself. He said, look, if you were watching me at Milan, maybe I wasn't at my very best, but I was still contributing. I was still doing well. Right? This isn't like other sports where the statistics are so important into maybe the narrative of the game. Pulisic was playing well, but I've got a full-scale plan in how the United States men's national team will win this game tonight. And referencing back to what Pochettino talked about, not having to give any motivational speeches. You know, only thing you have to do, Coach? Just show highlights of your last friendly against Paraguay, please, because this is all the motivation I would need if I was a player on that team. And you go through pregame video. Everyone goes through video when you want to go over your tactics, your starting lineup, exactly. This is the only thing I would show at the end of my video session with my players, and I would say, I don't need to say anything else. Let's watch this, know what you're up against in Paraguay, because they know you are a better team. They know you're a more talented team. You want to win the game? Make sure you set up to fight and scrap and be gritty like Americans can be. And then we are the more talented team. We have the better players on the field, but I would line up this video right here if I was Pochettino, and I wouldn't have to say another word. My players would know exactly what is at stake.
Well, I agree with you guys. It's a must-win. I want to ask you, Dax, do you expect Paraguay to come out and try to make it just physical and ugly again?
I would be,
because they know we have the talent advantage.
I would be flabbergasted if that was not their game plan right from the beginning. If I'm the Paraguay head coach, I'm saying foul. Be pragmatic. Break up the game. Frustrate them. It's called gamesmanship. Take your time on all set pieces, all throw-ins. Right?
That's why I think 1-0. I just don't. Yeah,
it's going to be close.
Goal scoring.
I want to make sure people's frame of reference and what their expectations should be are. The U.S. is going to win the game, but it is not going to be easy. None of these games are going to be easy in this group. And to your point earlier about this is potentially the quote-unquote in the FIFA rankings worst team we are going to play. Soccer is an inherently chaotic game. There are random weird things that happen. You have to keep your emotions in check because there are the possibilities of red cards. There are the possibilities of injuries. You have to play on this very fine edge of balancing out how much energy and emotion you play with, but not getting frustrated, as we saw in Copa America with Timothy Weah getting sent off against Panama. That kind of derailed our entire tournament. One single play could do that for us in this World Cup, so make sure you manage your emotions.
So, I was upset alert?
We're supposed to be focused on USA Paraguay, but it looks like they're all of a sudden the Puxatani pill of football is here to make an upset alert. Bonus upset alert.
What he's gonna do?
Oh my goodness! What a special treat, Dax.
Yeah,
that there was a random upset alert.
I can't wait.
You're just gonna try to
Powerhouse. Oh, we've got some World Cup trophies, do you?
He's gonna pick.
Well, we're the smallest nation to ever qualify for the World Cup.
Oh wait.
Curaçao.
Curaçao. A draw is a win against Germany.
Curaçao.
Oh, Wilds, that's impossible. Little Curaçao, they can't do it against big bad Germany. Okay. What happened last year with Saudi Arabia paying the best player in the world their first match? They straight up won. All of the pressure is on Germany. Curaçao, sit back. Pretty good defense. Boom. Get one goal, hold back maybe. Maybe a draw. How's Germany look? Super strong in their friendlies? Not against the U.S. They're supposed to be better than the U.S. U.S. had more shots on goal, more possession. Curaçao saying all the possession is on them. And I think the line is like 3.5 to 4 goals. People are talking about, it's like when Spain played Costa Rica and Spain won 7-0 and Costa Rica didn't even get a shot.
Yeah, it's gonna be just like that.
Wrong!
I want what you're having, all right? Germany is going to win this game by multiple goals. Just FYI.
You know what? It wouldn't be an upset alert without people like you who didn't believe in Curaçao. Blue wave.
Very quickly, just for Dax mentioning red cards. Last tournament, last World Cup, 4 red cards total. First game of this World Cup.
3 already?
Crazy.
I don't know if there's a knock-on effect from that. But
Now because VAR, I think, does.
Yeah, but there was
forward a little
VAR
bit.
in last tournament, last World Cup too, to a degree.
But technology and
yeah, you know what? Everything, the robots.